Well. Now, what in the world do we have here? It looks like some pretty important evidence to me. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the very weak case against Donald Trump being brought about by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Now, this case centers around Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and the letter you saw at the very beginning of this video is from Michael Cohen's own lawyer, which blows the whole case up. And before I get into the letter, quick recap. Trump allegedly has an affair with Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen allegedly pays her $130,000 in hush money. Cohen then invoices Trump. Trump then pays him back. These are the allegations. Now, that whole process, that whole exchange is seen as criminal, a misdemeanor at first, and then a felony. The biggest reach in U.S. history, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's get into the letter right now to see what this says, because as I said, this really blows the entire case up. This is from Michael Cohen's own lawyer back in 2018, early 2018. So we're talking about over 5 years ago. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. I'm writing on behalf of my client, Michael D. Cohen, in response to your letter dated January 30th, 2018. Specifically, this letter responds to the complaint numbered MUR 7313, which was filed with the Federal Election Commission, FEC, by Common Cause and Paul Ryan. Interesting. In a private transaction in 2016 before the U.S. presidential election, Mr. Cohen used his own personal funds to facilitate a payment of $130,000 to Miss Stephanie Clifford. That's Stormy Daniels. Neither the Trump organization nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Miss Clifford, and neither reimbursed Mr. Cohen for the payment directly or indirectly. So that blows the whole case up right there. The allegation is Michael Cohen paid her the hush money, and then Trump, through his businesses, not directly, reimbursed him, paid him back. This letter says that he did that on his own. Now, whether you could say, oh, he was forced to say that, it doesn't really matter. This letter right here says that the allegation that Alvin Bragg is trying to get Trump locked up on is not true. And if you're a chief guy, Michael Cohen, his own lawyer says this 5 years ago, where's your case? There is no case, in my humble opinion. Let's continue. Contrary to the allegations in the complaint, which are entirely speculative, neither Mr. Cohen nor Essential Consultants, LLC, made any in-kind contribution to Donald J. Trump for President, Incorporated, or any other presidential campaign committee. The payment in question does not constitute a campaign contribution or expenditure, and therefore the FEC lacks jurisdiction over this matter. The complaints have not and cannot present any evidence to the contrary. Accordingly, the complaint should be dismissed. So what are we saying? Look, Trump said there was no affair. Stormy says there was no affair. This letter says that the money that Michael Cohen paid her was not related to Trump. Trump did not reimburse him. Trump did not, it was not on his behest. It was nothing like that. Now, maybe I'm reading the letter wrong. Maybe I just forgot how to read within the past few days, weeks, months. I'm not really sure. Y'all let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. Matter of fact, I'm a switch to Alan Dershowitz, and you can hear what he says about this, and what he's saying kind of echoes my sentiments. And of course, this video and the letter will be in the description box if you want to see it, read it without my commentary. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I have never seen a case in my 60 years of practice which has so many holes in it. Start with the statute of limitations. It's 7 years before he committed the crime. The New York State statute says the only exception for that is if his whereabouts were unknown. I have to tell you, even Bragg could have found him. He was in the White House. He's the easiest. And he was out in New York. Well, there are photographs of him at his house on the street. He was not continuously out of New York. I don't see how you can twist and turn to make the statute of limitations disappear.
Right.
And then you have all the other. How many holes are there? Shall I count the ways to count the quote the poet? I have never seen a weaker case. And in the end, I really do think Bragg is worried about his own bar card. I think he's worried that if he brings this case and he uses a witness who he has to know is lying, there are going to be investigations of him, and there should be investigations. He holds an office that was held by Bob Morgenthau, Frank Hogan, some of the great prosecutors in history, and he is disgracing that office by bringing this case. So I hope he comes to his senses, doesn't bring this case.
Right on point. This is really disgraceful from Alvin Bragg to try and bring this case to any kind of light. Like there's no case there. There's nothing there. Like Alan Dershowitz said, statute of limitations is real. In New York City, the first offense, the misdemeanor, as far as, the quote unquote accounting error, where they said that Trump reimbursed Cohen or whatever, the allegation, that is a misdemeanor. So even if he is found guilty of that, it is a misdemeanor. The statute of limitations on that in New York is 2 years. This case was 7 years ago. We're 5 years too late. What are we doing? And then the campaign finance violation, how are you going to prove that? Cohen's own lawyer said that that wasn't the case back in 2018. And so does Trump. He says the same thing. So if your key witness is Michael Cohen and his own lawyer says that what he's saying is not true, and Trump says it's not true, you're talking about a former president, how are you really going to get anywhere with this? This case is just beyond weak. If anything, if you were to ask me, why is he doing it? For political purposes, to try and make his name get bigger. The same thing that's happening down in Georgia with Fonnie Willis in Fulton County. It's the same thing. Or it's just a matter of Democratic Party putting pressure on him, trying to get some cases like this out there in the atmosphere to throw dirt on his name. So even if nothing happens, you could still say, oh, well, he was charged, although he probably won't be charged. The average Norman will think that he got charged and he could have got locked up. So then that would make them less likely to vote for him or more emboldened to vote for the other party. This is no more than politics being played right here. It's not really a serious thing. So this case should be dismissed with prejudice. It shouldn't have been brought to the forefront. They keep delaying the grand jury because, remember, Trump said he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. It's now Thursday. That's not happened yet. The grand jury has to convene and they have to decide if there's enough evidence there to charge Trump. That's not going to happen. They keep kicking the proverbial can down the road, keep delaying the jury meetings because it ain't going to happen. This is really ridiculous. And I think at the end of this, as I close, Alvin Bragg should be disbarred or at best just removed from this particular office in New York City. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this case? Do you think it's weak? Will it fall apart? How about that letter? Doesn't that really destroy the whole case? Because as far as I know, the case was centered around Michael Cohen in his testimony. He's saying, oh, Trump did this, he paid me back, all this and that. But the letter says something different from his own lawyer. So if your lawyer comes out and writes a letter on your behalf in 2018, and here it is, 2023, you're saying something different. When you present that in front of the grand jury, what are they going to think? Oh, this guy's not really telling the truth. Either he was lying back then or he's lying right now. Either way, he's a liar. Why should I believe him? Why should I take his word seriously when it comes to arresting a former president, an unprecedented thing? Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.